What a beautiful day, huh, Cork? Here we are, home sweet home. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. Hi, I'm MarsJennings, and welcome to my home and garden. I've always been inspired to make things beautiful. However, creating a pleasant home environment is not something that happens overnight. In 1997, I purchased this house with a very clear vision on what I wanted to do with it. I hope to share with you some of these ideas and hopes that I can inspire you to do the same. I'm delighted to introduce to you Sissy Biggers, who is a very dear friend, and she also happens to be the co-host, lifestyle expert from the Victory Garden on PBS, and she's here because she's been talking a little bit about my moss ball obsession that I have.
Well, you know, it is sort of the invasion of the moss balls here in the
everywhere.
studio.
It's everywhere.
And you know, it's funny, we first spotted one of these together. We were working on a charity benefit, and you brought this along.
That's right.
And I said, Mar, I adore that. And then he told me how much it cost.
Right. And that's where I really got inspired. And then you came back and you saw that I reproduced them in smaller scales. And I wanted to show you exactly how to do that, which is really where you start. I saw this and it was expensive. And I figured, why can't I do that?
Exactly.
Why can't we do that? So I kind of broke it down a little bit. And so some of the basic things that we have here will show you exactly how to reproduce
I think
that.
we're getting crafty already. So let's show the viewers what we're going to work with.
Okay.
So when they go to the craft store, they'll see how easy this is.
Right.
This is just your basic styrofoam.
Styrofoam ball.
Which gets me feeling crafty as soon as I hold
Right
one.
away, right away.
What is a greening pin? I don't know that I've ever seen
That is
these.
basically an industry standard when you're working with any kind of flowers, moss. It is utterly available. It's something very easy to use.
And then we've got some little green thread here.
Just like any other thread you're going to use.
And then a brush, which I think's got some glue on it, so there must be glue somewhere.
I've used that one before, as you can tell.
Good.
And of course, moss.
Right, perfect.
Which is available just about anywhere. Your garden centers, your craft stores, even a flower shop, if you're finding problems trying to track it down, will sell you these strips. And you're going to build from there. But I know that you are a real girl, and I didn't want you to wreck your manicure. So there's some plastic gloves.
Thank you, Mar.
You're very welcome.
The 100-count latex from the Price Club.
Right. You can't go wrong with that.
These are also great for gardening.
No matter what you do, I use them all the time, and it's just a great multi-purpose glove to have that when you're done, you just throw it out.
If I could just get my fingers in. Okay, so I'm ready now. My manicure's protected.
We're going to start, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a larger ball to start with.
So I'm going to make a little more of a dramatic statement with my moss ball.
Yes, you are. Yes,
you know what I think is fun about these? We need that glue, too, right?
Yes, we're going to need glue.
You know what I think is fun about them is that they really are decorative and also wonderful gifts for gardeners in particular.
Absolutely.
Who love things like this.
Think outside the box. Go ahead and you put some glue.
Will you squeeze that for me more?
You need some muscle. There you go. Okay.
Better.
And you don't want to saturate it because it will absorb, and you want to get a good portion of it on a section. So you don't want to do the entire ball.
So we're doing section by section.
Section by section, and I would do like a little bit of like a fourth of the ball.
Okay.
Okay.
This is ready then.
Okay, so you're kind of going to work that through. Excellent. And then you're going to take your moss ball and place it with your moss.
My greening pins.
Your greening pins now will come in. This is crucial because this is actually going to help support the glue and keep it in place. So you're just going to push that in.
Okay.
And you're going to work around that.
That's easy enough.
Easy enough, right? Okay. And you've had some practice. And we're building on this one before, but as you continue, we're going to go ahead and finish. Let's go ahead and finish this one. Okay, let's put that one.
All right, so the next time you go to a dinner party and you don't want to bring flowers, bring a moss ball.
Bring a moss ball. It will be a conversation.
Conversation piece.
Okay.
And you know what's great? They can go in the middle of a dining room table. You want to hold the bottom of that so the camera can catch it. Middle of a dining room table. They can go on top of a little urn.
That's right.
In the garden,
I love utilizing them everywhere I possibly can. And here's a perfect example. You know, I just took this basket, and here's one that I purchased, and here's the one that I actually made. And I actually prefer the one that I made now. And you can put them on top of cash pots, any kind of urns. Great focal point in any home or garden.
Now, I've noticed though that your finished one has more of a finished look.
It does.
How do you get that look?
To take it to the next level, you're going to take the string, and that's really what kind of takes it to the next level and gives it a very finished look to it. So you would go back and take one of these pushing pins and stick it in, and you will take the string, and this is my extent of sewing, by the way. Okay,
Likewise.
so this is pretty much.
If my family's watching, they better not think that I know how to use thread.
Exactly.
I've been holding out for that for years.
Well, your secret is safe with me. So we're gonna go ahead and tie a little knot.
Could your mother sew?
My mother, no. She could point, but she could not sew.
See, that's why you can't sew. My mother didn't sew. That's why I can't sew. All right,
so I stuck that all the way in. I made the knot.
Are you going to keep wrapping it?
Okay, now I'm just going to completely go around and wrap it. And you can be very generous here. You want to make sure that when you go through, you're really keeping it nice and firm. Okay, and again, you don't need to do this. This is just for that extra security and finish look.
I think it gives it more of that sort of English garden shop.
It really does.
Can't you just see this? And if you did see it at one of those fancy little garden gift shops, this would probably run about $20, right?
Absolutely. Very inexpensive to make, but when you start pricing these out, I mean, you can definitely see that it's worth making at home.
How much is a sheet of moss? Do you remember?
Sheet of moss, basically, you can buy them in different packages. So I like to buy them in a bulk size for the obvious reason. But for someone just starting off, you can just go to any, as I said, floral shop and just buy it in strips in less than 10 bucks.
Right, that's great.
You know, the last part is when you want to finish up the tie, you want to actually stick another pin in.
Pull the greening pin out.
Okay, and you're just going to make another knot. And you will find that when you make the knot, and this might be really hard. Let's see if I can get that. I made the knot, okay? And it's a little bit not really tight, so I pick up the pin again, and now I'm going to push it really tight, and that basically secures it.
And this is going to be okay out in the rain?
Absolutely. You can keep that outside. You put it in a basket. Look at that.
Can I take that one home, Mar?
You could have that one. You can actually have both of these.
I can have both of the moss balls?
Two. She can have two. Two sizes.
It's great.
But
let's show the big one again, because that's what really got us excited when we saw this from the store. I love that. Because you put that in your garden and you create a whole nother atmosphere, a little more formal.
A little bit more
Is English the right derivative to say that? It's got an English garden quality.
Absolutely. It's natural.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are really attracted to, is that it's a very natural looking element in the garden. A wonderful thing to do is to take an old urn, change it out, and put a moss ball. Exactly. I think it's just something that people aren't going to expect. They're going to discover it in your garden. It's really going to make an impact. It's a fantastic accessory, whether you put it in the home such as this or you put it in the garden.
Well, everything you do, Mar, makes an impact, because you really have great ideas and inspiration, and when you get to work, you show us how easy it is.
Thank you very much. And I love to share this, and I'm delighted that I was able to show you something that you really loved. Well, and I always look forward to seeing you and coming back again, so thank you very much. And for more information on how to make these great moss balls, please log on to my website at www.MarsJennings.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mar.
Okay. You take those, yes.
I have a perfect spot in my container garden.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mars guest Sissy Biggers. For more great ideas for the home and garden, check out Mars' website, MarsJennings.com.
Here we are in the kitchen, and my good friend and neighbor Wendy Wall is here to talk to us a little bit about an amazing recipe she created. Now, you must know that she brings a brand new meaning to Love Thy Neighbor. She created a flourless chocolate raspberry cake that she's going to show us exactly how to do at home. Wendy, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here, Mar. Thanks for having me.
Now tell me, you said that even I can do this, which I'm always interested in finding out things that I can do. So, what is it that we need in order to reproduce this?
This is so easy. We're going to make this together in about 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, we need a pound of chocolate.
Pound of chocolate.
A teaspoon of vanilla, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, and a 1/4 cup of a raspberry liqueur.
Fantastic.
Okay, so we're going to take all of those things and melt them over the stove.
Now, do you have to use that type of liqueur? Can you use others?
No, actually, raspberries are my absolute favorite. So I love raspberry liqueur, but you could make this with mint liqueur or a chocolate liqueur, espresso liqueur.
Fantastic. So you can vary a little bit.
Yeah.
2 sticks of butter. And the butter's at room temperature.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
There you go.
Do that one as well.
Perfect.
Pretty simple.
So
just
easy.
Adding
so
in.
stick this on the stove.
Okay. And how long is that going to now stay on the stove for?
You know, it stays on. You have to watch this really carefully because chocolate burns.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that you're kind of hovering and stirring every, minute or so. But this should stay here for about 3 to 4 minutes.
3 to 4 minutes.
Yep.
Okay. So you probably want to time it, keep an eye on it, don't go far away.
Exactly.
Okay.
So simultaneously, we're going to take 7 eggs that are at room temperature.
All right.
Crack them into the mixer along with a cup of sugar.
All right.
Okay.
I can help.
Help me with this.
I got the eggs down right. Okay.
Okay. Oops, sorry.
Oops. I love these group projects in the kitchen. It really is fun, right?
Oh, I love to bake. It's I think a lot of people think that your measurements need to be exact, and this is a really forgiving cake because you can change up the chocolate a little bit. You can add a little bit more raspberry liqueur or other liqueur if you want a stronger flavor. So it's really forgiving. You don't have to be, nothing has to be exact.
Seriously.
Right, exactly. Okay. So we're going to mix this for about 6 minutes.
Okay.
The mixture should start to form fairly stiff peaks.
Okay, so we're going to turn that on.
Yep.
And medium speed?
Yeah, medium speed. If it doesn't seem like it's mixing, turn it up a little bit.
All right.
But this should mix for, as I said, about 6 minutes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right, Wendy, this is all done.
Oh,
so
great.
I'll let you take care of that.
Okay.
I'll get rid of these eggs.
Good. Well, what you want to do is let this cool down just a little bit before you add the egg mixture in there.
All right.
So, in the interest of time, I think we'll not let it cool down for now, but I'll switch this off.
All right. And don't worry about this actual recipe. It'll also be available on MarsJennings.com, so all the complete details will be there.
Great. So this is nice and fluffy.
Perfect.
The longer you beat this, the fluffier your cake will be.
Now let's take a look at this and let's try to get, hand me that.
Yeah, it's hot.
Just so
be
I
careful.
could show the consistency of how this is. We'll try to get that. It's really...
It's melted. It's all
completely
combined.
melted. Want to watch it, right?
Yep.
So
don't want to burn it. And then you just want to fold about half of this in here.
just half and just
stir
doing
it.
the stir.
Yep, exactly. Just make sure it's all blended together. And it's going to, it's really hot.
Here we go.
You do?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's just to show everyone. Don't worry when it looks like you are all of a sudden making a vanilla cake. It will come back and actually be chocolate again.
It does look. I was going to just
comment
on it. It looks
I
like,
remember the
we're
first
making
time
vanilla.
I made this, I was a little worried.
This doesn't look right. Okay.
Right. But once it actually becomes chocolatey again, then you know it's time to add the rest of this in.
All right. So you wait till that point.
Exactly.
Okay. So
And
that could take as it cools down.
As it cools down, you'll start to see the chocolate.
And you can tell already as I'm stirring this that the chocolate is coming back.
Right, exactly. See, so you start to see the swirl of the chocolate come back.
Okay. And as you said, this entire recipe, 10 minutes.
Tops.
Tops.
Yep.
So it's really easy to do.
Yeah, and it's, one of those things where you impress
and look at
your
it.
friends.
It's definitely has turned
it looks
chocolate
like it'd be
again.
Really hard. Yep.
Wow. And just continue to stir it.
Mm-hmm. And that's it. You're done. So after this is all blended together, then you want to actually put it in your pans. And this recipe calls for a springform pan.
Okay.
And you can either use a 9-inch springform or you can use these individual springforms, which I think are really
I
fun.
love when you actually gave me the cake the last time, it was this individual pan one, and I just thought that's perfect portion control.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just enough for a great treat, and it's not overwhelming.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And the only trick with the springform is that you do need to line it with parchment paper. So you want to butter the pan and line it with parchment paper, which I have actually already done here. So this needs to be stirred just a little bit more.
So it has already
that's
come back to its true color, chocolate.
It smells so good too.
Perfect, right? So now it's actually ready to go into the oven.
Yep. So if you can help me, stick it in this pan.
All right, why don't you come around here?
Okay.
I'll step away.
I usually just use a measuring cup or something to scoop it in because it's a little messy if you try to pour it. But you want to fill up the pan about 3/4 of the way. And it will rise a little bit. And don't be worried if it, you know, comes up over the edges a little bit. You can just slice them off afterwards.
So it will rise.
Yep.
Okay, so here's one. And let's just go ahead and do one more.
Okay.
And
let me just butter this a little bit.
I will do this one now.
Oops. So again, just butter the inside of it and then stick your parchment in there. And this just helps it to come out really easily.
And that's interesting. You put the butter on the inside prior to the parchment paper.
Yes.
Okay. Great. All right. And I really love this. This is not for people that are counting their calories. No. But it is a lovely, special little gift if you want to give to a neighbor that moves into your neighborhood, or that perfect little gift when you're going to someone's home.
Right. It's a great hostess gift.
So
that's perfect.
All right, so here are these two. So now we're going to put them in the oven. And how long do they go in the oven? You should preheat the oven. Yep,
350. And they go in for about 55 minutes. The longer you cook them, the more cooked they'll be, obviously.
Okay,
but,
so you can kind of vary a little bit?
Yeah, you know how you go to a restaurant and they serve that really fancy molten chocolate cake? It kind of pours out, oozes out when you cut into it. If you cook it for less, it'll be like that. And if you cook it for more, it'll have the consistency of like a brownie.
Perfect, perfect.
So,
all right, so
but
let's
55 minutes is a good guide.
And
so stick them in the oven there.
And that's one. And here's two.
Move this. And there's one that's about ready to come out.
This
so do we
one, yeah, let's get that one out.
Let's take this one out and we can go.
Perfect. And look at that. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Pretty simple.
Yep.
Okay.
Let me just slide that on there. Oops.
Perfect. All right, so it comes out. Now, I guess the question is taking it from there and onto a plate.
Yep. You want to let it cool a little bit. It'll be harder to do if it's hot, actually, but I bet we can figure it out here. You know, the springform pans come out really easily, and because this is has the parchment paper, it'll just flip right out. So you can flip it out onto the plate. And there's generally a good side and a bad side. So I can see I sort of flipped to the bad side, but
so
I would kind of flip it out. Flip it on this. Let's try that. Perfect.
Better.
Much better.
Okay.
Okay. So, you know, this is so rich.
And this is how you finish it now.
Yeah. It's just so rich. You don't need a lot of ice cream. I wouldn't put ice cream with it, but it is nice.
But you could.
You could.
Because I know I did.
You did? Oh, you did?
I did.
I would just put, you know, a couple raspberries, a little bit of powdered sugar, but however you want to finish it off is totally up to you.
And it's absolutely delicious.
Yep.
And let's go ahead and give that a try, shall we?
Oh, I'd love to.
Because that is the best part. And I've been waiting for this for quite some time because it's always a treat and quite delicious. Mmm.
Not bad.
Delicious, exactly the way I remember it. This was absolutely delicious, and I'm very lucky that I have a neighbor that can actually feed me as well. So I encourage you to knock on your neighbor's door and actually get involved and create these types of great recipes. I can tell you it's very fulfilling. I want to thank you so much, Wendy, for being here.
Me. I had a great time.
And you need to come up with more of these type of recipes, and we'll keep bringing them back to you.
That would be great.
Until next time, thank you so much. You know, I was reading a book regarding Feng Shui, and it mentioned goldfish as a symbol of prosperity. That got me to think. Although I always enjoyed having fish as a child, I could never quite find myself owning them as an adult because of the maintenance involved with it. Here's a tip for you. I went to the store and I purchased this 2.5-gallon tank. Now, I elected not to go with the filter system that it came with. This was very inexpensive. So what I did is I spent the money on a 10-gallon filter system. This really made a big difference. The norm would be is that you put your colored rocks on the bottom of the tank and your plastic plants. I decided to break away from all that and do something different. I went with a natural stone, and instead of the norm, I broke some terracotta pots and I put them on the bottom of the tank. Now, isn't that much more appealing than those plastic plants? I think the fish appreciate it as well because it does create some great visual appeal. 4 months later, they're still alive and healthy. That's the key of prosperity, keeping them alive and healthy. Whatever you do, this is a great tip to bring goldfish into your life. Come here, come here. Good girl. Hi. For most of us, having a pet is really a true joy. But let's not forget a very important detail is exercising your pet. I'm very fortunate because here in Westport, we have a wonderful park that was donated to us. This is really a true time for Corky to play and have a good time and see her friends. Let's make sure we keep a couple of things in mind when we are taking our dog to the park. As you can see, she's dying to get to someone. Exercise is very, very important. So make sure you allow for the time for the dog to run around and engage and have a good time with his or her friends. Also use it as a time for training and making sure that you can actually treat them to little special treats for rewards that are done, especially when there's distractions being done. A lot of friends here, great place to spend some time. Not only that, it's a wonderful time to actually meet up with people and enjoy the time you spend together. Socialize, engage, bring people together, and exercise your dog. I know for me, when my dog exercises, that guarantees a really good night's sleep. So for her, it's night-night. My next guest, Laura Spector, has been creating whimsical furniture pieces for over 11 years. She's been featured in Architectural Digest and Oprah magazine. She's here today to show us a little bit about these creations and what inspired her to create these amazing pieces. Laura, thank you so much for being here. And tell me, talk to me a little bit about this piece and what actually inspired you to create them.
Actually, nothing inspired me. I put my first child on the bus for kindergarten, and I was waiting an hour early to pick him up like any new mother, and I saw these vines, and they were so magnificent, and they resonated something in me, fairy tales. And I started creating furniture that in my subconscious I remembered from Disney movies.
Fantastic. And you know, they're just so unique, and not one is the same, right?
They can't be, it's organic.
It's organic. Now, you're also doing something great for the environment when you're creating these pieces. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, unlike a lot of American rustic, this is European rustic, that uses specimen trees or the teak and tropical woods. This is a vine that was imported here as a decorative vine, but it turned out that it would be an invasive weed because there was no predators to keep its growth in check. So these grow in these great contortions, twists, and turns because they're strangling trees. So I have permits from Land Trust, the Audubon, to go and forage, and I'm rescuing trees and making beautiful furniture.
Now, it's shocking because she's just so tiny, and you would think she's climbing trees and she's taking these down, but that must be really hard to do.
Oh, no. It's so, if you let go and let nature, the passion comes through, and you get the strength of nature coming through your body. I mean, it sounds so new age, but it's
the power.
So, yeah, it really is.
Okay.
It really is.
Now, you have a couple of examples here of some pieces that are not quite finished, and you started a bench here. So you're going to show us exactly.
No, I'm not, Mar. You're going to show us how to do it because it's a very natural and organic process.
Put, on the spot. Okay, so there's 3 pieces here, and I guess I'm going to take one, and I must mention that, and to look at this, it's truly beautiful.
You are such a natural, because the first step in building rustic is to look, perception, what is it? Find your inspiration point. I mean, many people just cut this off, brush it off, get it into a 2x4 shape, and you're looking at, oh my God, this is so beautiful.
It's whimsical. I mean, it just really speaks about nature.
And then now, nature is your friend, and you have to make it happy.
Nature's my friend. Okay, so I'm going to take this, and we're building, we're building
You're building a bench back.
Back, okay.
And keep in mind that your vine and your construction has to be beautiful, functional, and strong.
Beautiful,
so when you make your choices, just like you, when you make your choices, keep that in mind.
All right.
Nothing is just arm candy.
All right. So what I'm going to do, and once you find the spots, I guess you're going to secure them as well. But for right now, we're just going to put them together.
Is nature talks to you if you listen. Without even a screw or a clamp, if it's in where it wants to be, it will be happy and it will just sit there for you.
So don't fight. Don't fight with Mother Nature.
No, embrace it.
Okay, so
fight yourself.
Fight yourself. Okay, let's see. I guess how.
Well,
like
that. Is it happy? Oh, it's happy.
Okay, it's happy. It's there. Okay, so
very good.
So that's like the beginning. I'm using kind of this as a model, so
no,
I'm kind of, don't. Okay.
You can't copy something that's organic. They have its own, and you got to respect that. Who doesn't want to be? It will tell you. Just look at the piece and look at your choice and see where will it support, add, and define. Okay, support, add. I'm trying to repeat all her tips here.
What was my first
Oh God, this is quite on the spot.
Well, that's going to lean again. So
Let's
I would
see.
try to find, to brace it naturally.
Like that?
Ha! You have a gift! You have a gift!
Look out, I'm going into the furniture making business now. Okay.
And I have a TV show.
Right. Here we go. All right, so the third piece, and again.
You know what I like the way you're naturally working side to side, back and forth. You are a natural.
Well, I'm letting it speak to me.
Exactly.
Interesting enough, I don't know if you can understand that, but I'm just kind of, it's really coming to terms with.
Because it's coming to terms. You're coming to terms with yourself through nature. And if you let nature guide you, you can't make a mistake. If you try to force and impose, like any relationship, it will fight against you.
You know?
Oh my God!
Like that. Now, it's worth mentioning, okay, I was 2 out of 3, okay.
No, you're going to get there.
All right! Okay, it's worth mentioning as well that once you build, okay, and this might be difficult for someone such as ourselves to just start out and make something like this. We'll talk about how people can actually get a hold of your products.
Well, I teach, and it's more, when I teach perception. Because as I'm self-taught, I teach to open their eyes. Everything you need to know about design, construction, just look at a branch of a tree. Nothing stronger or more beautiful. And if you do that, well, you already got a head start. you do, once you are comfortable, you do make a commitment and screw in and keep building and working.
And you can cut back, but that's the very last. That's at the end.
You edit at the very end because you don't know where your next opportunity is going to come from, and don't pretend that you do.
Amazing stuff. Thank you so much for being
here.
How can people get a hold of you?
Well, I have a website, lauraspectorrusticdesign.com, and it's all one word, and all my information and designs are up there.
Great, thank you. Also, we'll have a link on MarsJennings.com as well to Laura's great stuff and some great photographs as well. So thank you so much for being here. Okay. And there you have it. Until next time, take care in your home and garden. Goodbye, everyone. For more information and creative ideas, log on to my website at www.MarsJennings.com.